Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. If you desire to intimately connect with yourself, significant other, children, family, friends, community, and higher power, then this is the show for you. We explore intimate topics, inspiring life stories, spirituality, and insightful tips on strengthening relationships. The show is hosted by Dr. April and her co-host, Coach K. Let's get this episode of the Bringing Intimacy Back show started. We share with you today the secret power to intimacy to create the life you love or love the life you create. Now here's your host, Dr. April, and her co-host, Coach K.
Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. Yes. Welcome, Coach K. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. And how about yourself?
Good, good. Did you have a great Easter weekend?
I did. We on Saturday we held our the hunt at Norchest. We did an indoor Easter egg hunt for children 0 to 10 years old.
Okay.
And then that Sunday we celebrated my great niece's birthday here at the office building. So we had a pretty full weekend.
Oh, awesome. Yes. I served an Easter service and then went to Easter service and then actually went to a Buddhist temple and did a meditation.
Nice.
Yes, and had dinner, my friend and I, with another couple. So we just had a wonderful time. Yes. And
that sounds amazing.
Yes. What I love about spring is that rebirth, which kind of ties into our topic today about intimacy with spirit, self, and loved ones.
My gracious. Yes, this is. Yes.
Yeah. And I think people don't realize the importance of that whole spiritual part when it comes to relationships and how to connect that.
Yeah, I think that's super important. It's almost like bridging a gap that's truly missing in many places in modern day.
Right. And it's that spirituality that connects us all, because we're all created by, something I call higher power, and I call God, and other people call other things, but we're all connected.
Yes.
We were all created. So definitely. So I'm so looking forward to speaking with our guest, Blair Abee. And he is going to lighten us a lot about meditation, which I'm really excited about. Like I said, I just did a meditation thing this weekend. So we always do a charity of the month. And so our charity of the month is Safe Children Coalition. It's a great organization. Guys, if you're out there and you're thinking, well, I want to maybe help out, don't know how to help out. Well, this one helps provide safety to protect our children, strengthen our families, and build community. So it's a great thing. The other thing, if you're out there listening and you like the show and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to also incorporate spiritual intimacy in my relationships. One of the things that I do, and I also know that Coach Kate does, are retreats. Yes. And so we have a call to action because we have an amazing retreat coming up in Costa Rica that you're not only going to work on your relationship, but spirituality and yourself. So if you're out there and you're like, definitely, I want to go on a Costa Rica retreat or any of our retreats, we have a coupon code that's definitely $500 off on our retreats. And you can just email Dr. April at bringingintimacyback.com. Well, we're going to take a small break, and when we come back, we're going to introduce Blair Abee to talk to us about intimacy with self, spirit, and loved ones. We'll be back in a moment.
Learn to cultivate a deeper connection with yourself and your inner spirit in order to further manifest a more fulfilling, intimate life. Find your purpose in life, develop unwavering confidence, heal your inner child, and authentically live this purpose every day. It starts with you. Couldn't be further from the truth. Intimacy is not taboo, nor should it cost a fortune. Get your copy today. It Starts With You is available on Amazon, Audible, and...
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. Welcome, Blair.
thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you today. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, yes. I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly. I may have mispronounced it.
It's
Is it
last name Abee.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
you got it.
Awesome. Yes. All right. So we ask all our guests here who come on our show, what does intimacy mean to you?
Well, I think the way you described it, intimacy, spiritual intimacy, or intimacy with spirit, intimacy with self, intimacy with others, all are accessible through some of the tools and ideas that I offer related to meditation and manifestation. Spiritual intimacy, from my perspective, comes from having made soul contact or contact with my higher self, my higher consciousness. And that is an ongoing intimate relationship. I like to address or call my higher consciousness my soul. High C is a kind of a fun way to refer to that part of myself. And then that, of course, leads one into a relationship with oneself that's really more intimate than I've ever had in my life. And I've been around for a while, and I've been working on myself for many years. But some of the experiences that I've had really caused me to learn more about myself in ways that were somewhat unexpected and definitely intimate. And then relationship with others. From my perspective, it's possible to be more connected with another person if what you're able to do is see the essence or the spirit of that person. You've undoubtedly heard the term namaste, how Hindu people address each other, coming and going. And that word means the higher consciousness in me acknowledges the higher consciousness in you, which is a very intimate thing to say. And it also means that you, as the one who's maybe offering this greeting, are sufficiently spiritually attuned or aware to be able to see the essence of that other person. And in doing that, whether you're saying that to the other person out loud or whether you're just saying it internally, it is an acknowledgement that you are sufficiently developed to be able to see that about another person. You can see past the three-dimensional biomechanical vehicle they happen to be occupying, and are seeing the essence or the spirit within.
So Blair, I'm just listening to you, and the average person is probably thinking, how can in meditation, and even when you do that yoga, that higher meditation, can you connect with another person? And I felt like I've been able to do that when my partner and I have meditated or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, how do you do that? Because when you think of meditation, most people think of it as just as a singular thing.
Understand.
Yes.
Well, there's at least two forms of meditation, two certainly that I talk about in my books that I teach. And one has to do with sit-down meditation, whether you're cross-legged or whether you're sitting in a chair and undertaking a meditation practice. Or and then the other type of meditation is mindfulness meditation, which tends to be a shorter version of meditation and is usually thought of as being a very quick entry point into being in the moment or being in present time. In my mindfulness book, one of the things that I talk about is sacred senses, that I think each of our senses have a sacred element to them. And sacred seeing is that element which has you shift your consciousness into the higher form of consciousness, or a more elevated state of consciousness. And from that more elevated state of consciousness, you can see the other person and you can see their essence. So it takes a shift, if you will, in your awareness. Namaste is a good way, a good trigger. Another good trigger would just be peace, be still, which is a good mindfulness thing to say to yourself, to get yourself into a peaceful state of mind. And from that peaceful state of mind, from that higher consciousness state of awareness that you have, it's possible to see the essence or the soul in another person. So that's one of the values of meditation, is that it allows you to get quiet enough to kind of turn off your chatterbox mind, to be able to be in your five-dimensional self, and to be able to see the five-dimensional self in another person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I was thinking, and I know you mentioned that it's one benefit of meditation.
Yes.
Yeah. But also I think another benefit of meditation, and even in the sense of mental health or anxiety, it's quiet your mind, where you're not worrying, or you're not stressing or thinking about the past or the future.
Correct.
Yeah, or quieting your mind. The other aspect, and that was more of anxiety, of the depression. You're not thinking negative thoughts about yourself. You're
correct.
You're still.
Yes. Yes, you can get still, and you can even have soul contact, and we can talk about that in a little bit. You can develop a contact with your higher consciousness, or with your soul. But certainly, in a skillful meditation, you can be quiet to the point where stress begins to dissolve, or stress begins to recede. And stress is caused by the chatterbox mind, judging the moment, judging the person, thinking about past, thinking about projecting into the future, trying to survive as a human being. All of that gets in the way of your ability to be quiet, and also is part of the cause for stress, depression, and other forms of mental or emotional anxiety, if you will. So by getting into that quiet state of mind, it's entirely possible then to have those thoughts turn off, and for at least for the moment, even for just one moment, have that stress recede. Or if you're about to go into a meeting, or you're about to go and give a talk, saying to yourself, peace, be still, taking the deep breath and settling into your heart is a great way to just then walk into the room and give your talk, and do it from a calm and effective place rather than from a stressed out place.
Yeah, that's just like when you're having a disagreement with your partner, taking that cleansing breath, rechanneling their energy is definitely helpful. So that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say, there are lots of techniques, that one can use, but certainly taking a deep breath, or even taking a sacred breath where you engage your higher self, where you engage your soul, if you will, is certainly a way to have a better conversation with another, when you're not in a state of agitation, anger, or upset of some sort or another. Absolutely.
I think more parents probably could utilize that tool.
Yeah.
And then teach that, to the younger crowd, because, when we're as a parent, when you're in that space,
Right.
it's hard to really come down and talk in a level cool head. So
well, it is, and it really requires that you be mindful meditation, or that you be intentional, or that you just remember to put yourself into that state of mind that is more receptive and more able to deal with difficult situations, or with children freaking out, or whatever. And certainly if you can teach them, you can give them a major head start on life, just by learning just a simple way of calming themselves down. I think all of that leads to what we were talking about, the benefits of meditation being mental, emotional, spiritual, physical even. Studies have shown, there's about 3,500 studies that have been done on this subject, that meditation has positive impact on mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. There's a positive correlation there, and it's given all the studies that have been done, it's pretty undeniable that is a reason why somebody would want to undertake a meditative practice. You're more healthy. Your well-being is improved and increased. You have a better life.
Right, definitely. So Blair, you mentioned the two words, soul contact.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means?
Yes. To back up a little bit, what I would say is that all of us, you, me, all of us are spiritual beings.
Right.
We're, in fact, from my perspective, eternal beings that have been around from the beginning and that'll be around till the end of time and space. And as spiritual beings, then there's a part of us, the soul part of us, that is a companion, if you will, to the human being, and is available to anybody who wants to make contact with that side of themselves. Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, what I think he was saying is that there's a spirit inside all of us that is available to all of us if we learn how to turn to it, to learn how to make contact with it. And that what he was saying is, what I know about that has allowed me to be a elevated teacher, to be a Christ consciousness, to be an illumined or enlightened being, and that this is available to all of us. And what I'm here to do is to point you in the direction of some techniques, or just the knowledge of, or the proximity to me, given that I'm operating from that perspective, where you can have that also, that's also available to you. So that's what I would term soul. And then soul contact is any technique or any even occurrence. Sometimes in very difficult times, there's a contact with soul, where that part of yourself is available. And that's what I experienced about 6 or 7 years ago, after I went through a very traumatic time. Really kind of a job hell, if you will, with a psychopathic boss that I had to basically turn in as being abusive to employees, ruining the program that I was working in, and even stealing money from the program. Well, I did that. She got fired, but they ended up firing me too as a whistleblower.
Right.
Well, having done this kind of work for about 25 years, all of a sudden I was out of work. I didn't have income coming in. My whole life trajectory changed. And it was at that point I took a deep dive into my meditation practice, and I began to have experience of soul contact, began to have experiences of illumination. And as I write and I journaled for therapy, I began to realize that after 150,000 words, I had some real material that has turned into now 6 books and soon to be 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's amazing. And I do think for many people, including myself, it's sometimes those traumatic things that happen in our lives where we can't depend on the physical of whatever, that we go inward and we learn so much about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, I think my soul, my higher self, really wanted me to take a 90-degree turn. Was ready for me to finish what I was doing, and was ready for me to undertake my next part of my life,
right?
Which is the writing and all of that. Not anything I ever intended to do. But I didn't necessarily see it in the moment as being a blessing. But as I look back on it now, it was a blessing. My life is better than it's ever been. I'm doing the kind of work that I really love doing, including having this conversation with the two of you. And it was what I was really meant to do. Well, it's almost I had to be shaken, and thrown onto the ash heap in order to wake up and to take on a new understanding. But it was as a result of that, as a result of the therapy, spirit started flowing through me, and I began to sense that there's something going on here that's not normal. It's not, and it's wonderful, and it's illuminating. And then it began to be obvious to me that there was another part of me that I really hadn't had that much contact with, even though I've been meditating for about 45 years. That was beginning to move through the keys and onto the computer screen, and having conversations with that part of myself, which I do on a daily basis now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And so people, if you're out there listening and you are in a trying season in your life, these seasons come and go, but in those trying seasons, this is what sometimes happens, where you find the peaks of life that are so important. And I think I've experienced that in corporate America, changing from CPA to, counseling. And I'm assuming, Coach K, you've experienced that too?
Yeah, and that's why I'm a full-time entrepreneur as we speak. But I did want to say congratulations to you for, not taking that work abuse. And I don't think that there are not many people that are brave enough to step forward. So congratulations to you for stepping forward and for taking that sign as it came, that kind of, kicking the pants to do this work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had to, I just couldn't continue to watch what was going on. I wouldn't allow myself to be abused, but it was just going on around me. It was to the point where I just can't deal with this anymore. I've got to do what I've got to do, and whatever the consequences are will be whatever the consequences are. But it's the right thing to do.
Right. Which I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach K. It's so hard for many people these days to choose the right thing to do. So definitely, yes. So your work is amazing. So if people want to connect with you, how can they connect with you?
Well, I've written, as I said, 6 books. They're available at Amazon Books.
Okay. And the name?
Blair Abee, and it's the Higher Consciousness, Higher Consciousness Meditation Series, author Blair Abee. Also, for your listeners, I have a free copy of my mindfulness book.
Okay.
And that's available at my website, which is highcmeditation.com. That's HI capital C meditation.com. And we can also put the more direct link in the show notes, if you like,
Yes, we will.
so that people can pick that up. And by going to my website, going to my Facebook page, are ways that people can contact me. And in the process, if they like, I can put them on my email list. I have a blog post that I send out a couple of times a month.
Okay.
And it always has something to do with some topic related to my work of meditation and manifestation and so forth. My next book, it will be on health and wellness. And it'll take the same sort of spiritual approach to health and wellness as everything else that I've done. So there are lots of tools out there. I kind of see myself as a tool maker as much as anything else,
Right.
an idea dispenser, a tool maker, and I've got tools related to type of sit-down meditation called higher consciousness meditation. I've got the mindfulness book, and that includes the sacred senses. My manifestation book has a best possible outcomes process
Okay.
that is really cool, that people will like. In fact, I'll share that with you if you like.
Yes.
And the health and wellness book will also offer tools of various types that people can become healthier and have a greater sense of wellness.
Okay. Awesome. And they're all on Amazon on
Yes,
your site? Okay.
that's correct.
All right. So if you're out there listening and you want to learn more about meditation and, of course, manifestation, because what you put your mind to, your mind it's such a tool that you can manifest important things in your life.
And not only that, but if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, if what you can do, and this is what my best possible outcomes process is about, if what you can do is engage spirit or engage your higher self in the exploration of manifestation, you're going to have much better outcomes than if you're just using your three-dimensional human mind to try and manifest a BMW in your driveway tomorrow.
Right.
That's not necessarily what soul would have in mind for you.
Right.
So my best possible outcomes process is one where I'm basically asking my higher consciousness to bring the best possible outcome related to some situation, including just before coming on the air with you, I did a best possible outcomes for the outcome of this session with you. And then pausing and turning it over to spirit with the understanding that spirit is more likely to know what
Right.
you need for your growth and evolution than your mental construct that's constantly wanting more and more and more and more and more and more, and not necessarily asking the question, well, is this the best thing for me?
Right.
So you're actually asking spirit to bring forth or manifest the best thing for you, and then the process ends by thanking spirit for its involvement in your life. So you can see how that kind of simple approach sort of gets beyond the mind itself, or the human mind, the three-dimensional mind, engages your Buddha mind or engages your higher consciousness mind in the process of manifesting that which is the best thing for you to have, to grow, to evolve, and to be.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and with our higher spirit, it knows what's best for us more than we do. So yes,
It does. And if you can get into partnership with that, oh man, that's just
definitely.
yeah. It is amazing.
Thank you so much, Blair, for being on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I was really looking forward to this, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right, we'll be back in a moment. Thanks again.
Are you wanting a vacation in paradise? Vacation to reignite the passion, the desire in your relationship? Vacation counseling is just for you. We are deeply committed to your success as a couple. Our couples counseling retreats are exclusive, effective, and intimate. At Vacation Counseling, you will benefit from a combination of couples counseling, intimacy counseling, and individual counseling while you and your partner enjoy a relaxing vacation in sunny Southwest Florida. If you are interested in vacation counseling, please visit us at vacationcounseling.com for more information on prices and packages.
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. So yeah, definitely. Thank you again so much for being on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Indeed.
Yes.
Again, thank you for the opportunity. This has been fun.
Great. Awesome. Yes. So we're going to now talk about our upcoming shows.
Yes, so we have some great shows, and this has been amazing. I'm all about, connecting with self, especially the spirit. So I'm glad that this was a show for today. Now, we're going to keep this conversation going just a little bit on next week. So April the 20th, we're going to talk about spiritual intimacy with Dr. April and myself. And then on April 27th, we have how to create your dream relationship with Evan Mark. And then on May the 4th, we're going to talk about the benefits of couples retreats. They're super important. And speaking of the benefits of couples retreat, can you remind everybody about that special code that you have for your upcoming retreat?
Right. So if you guys want to go on an upcoming retreat, just email me at drapril@bringingintimacyback.com, and you will receive a discount code to either our Costa Rica retreat coming up on June 29th or one of our other Florida retreats, and it's a $500 discount. So
that is amazing. Costa Rica, and you get to save?
Yes.
Come on now. That's awesome.
Yes. All right. Then thank you guys so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and we will be back next week. We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bringing Intimacy Back, where intimacy is real. You can also find us at bringingintimacyback.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Dr. April Brown's 7th book series, Improving Intimacy, is now on Amazon. We'll see you next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe.